Now, I didn't know that he was married to, what was it, Faye Grant?
Yes.
Who I always remember her and loved seeing her on V.
Yeah.
So I was in shock because I didn't even know those two were together. I had heard the rumors back and saw some of like the news stories about how he got in trouble for stuff, but I never paid close attention to it.
It's amazing how you look at how you forget who was married to who. Like I remember Parker Stevenson was with the late Kirstie Alley and Gil Gerard and Connie Selica back in the day, Buck Rogers himself and all. And it's always so funny on all that and everything.
And that's one of the things. It's hard to like lock down all the different characters and who's been married to who. Hollywood, that's why I think there's so many of like these Hollywood access and entertainment shows, because they can delve into different elements. I mean, we primarily look at the shows themselves because I don't really want to get into people's personal lives.
No.
Hollywood Demons, however, is one of those things where we're kind of looking into it because it's more of an investigation onto some of the issues that...
And the psyches.
Yeah.
And everything.
And Stephen Collins was also a writer. So the fact that he's an author, wrote quite a few books, and they were kind of erotic books in a sense, where he played a preacher on TV, but he's writing these books, and some of the stuff that was in there was a little weird, and it ended up being that he was actually coming on and having relations with children.
And the scary part is also he's affiliated with Star Trek.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you know what? It is what it is. And the funny part was, too, the mom from Seventh Heaven was also a part of Star Trek history.
She was in Star Trek for The Voyage Home.
Yeah, with the whales.
Yes.
So that's the thing. You know, we have people who are on other properties and stuff, and it kind of ruins the properties when you find this stuff out about them. But Stephen Collins, this isn't anything new.
No.
But knowing now...
It's disappointing.
Yeah. But the fact that he was getting himself involved with preteen girls is a major issue, and it's one of the reasons why you don't really see Seventh Heaven in syndication anymore. No. If it is, it's probably on one of the Christian channels, which they seem to be a little more forgiving about things like that, but I don't understand how, but sure, why not? Now, we got to talk about the kids, though, that got violent, which was the second episode. Oh,
my God.
Hollywood stars that turned violent. I did not expect that Andy was going to be one of them from growing from, what was it, Family Ties?
Family Ties.
Yep. So
Brian Bonsall.
Yeah. I didn't
crap.
That he had a substance abuse problem,
Yeah.
and his substance abuse problem led to some violent stuff, but he's cleaned up his act. He seems to be in a good place and everything, and he's more like he's a musician now more than anything.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's good to see like that from these episodes you saw, like Stephen Collins' episode, there was nothing really redeeming there. But for kids that that got violent and had troubled pasts, they've at least like kind of fixed themselves a little bit. The kid from the Hughleys, I mean, he wanted to put tattoos all over himself.
What in the world?
Yeah, that one I was just like, why the face tattoos? But you know what? That's
what you want to do with the money. Your money, that's fine. As long as it goes there, as long as it goes here, not in here.
Yeah, but
that's
I will.
One thing. But wait. Let me retract that. Nose piercings are okay. Cocaine, no.
But the thing that you got to realize too is though, like you see, like we found out that when he was going through some of his issues, D.L. Hughley actually stepped up and like spoke on his behalf.
Because he was like a father figure.
And that's the thing though. D.L. Hughley, it shows like having a positive male influence for some of these kids, whether it's their family or it's someone on the show.
Yeah.
You know, we saw like the dark side of Nickelodeon and stuff. We saw that how that stuff ended up, and Hollywood Demons took it in another direction.
They kicked it up a little notch, but with that Nickelodeon one, I'll say this and I'll admit it. I want more. There's more out there.
I don't think I want to. I don't want to know.
Want to know.
Yeah,
but it's out there and it's scary.
Yeah, and sometimes this is almost we're at a point where you kind of want to keep your head down and not think about it.
Not even look up and see if it's there.
Exactly.
Or when you know it's there, it's like, oh no.
Now, you know, the Hollywood kids that got violent and had like troubled past, it's very interesting to see because you saw like one kid just was
What's
complete.
his name from Not So Raven? And
Yeah.
he was also in Max Keeble. I was just watching it.
He was also on a few episodes of Family Matters.
Yeah.
So it's sad to see a downfall of stuff like that, of a kid like that, but
He got himself in serious.
he had
issues.
Yeah, and that's the thing though, but it's a matter of getting these kids the proper therapy that they need to be, and I think most celebrities should all have a therapist to deal with it, especially if they're getting involved in this at a younger age, that the parents didn't think about things like that back in the day. I think it's probably an idea that parents should be thinking about if you want to get your kid involved in like celebrity culture and stuff, put them in therapy, like so they can properly process everything. And
When you see stuff happen, these kids are going to question, like, why did this happen? Why did this guy do this? Why did he leave?
Yep.
And everything. And you gotta have. That's what's got.
and part of these kids' issues was they didn't understand when the shows ended. They weren't famous anymore, or they had to look for other jobs.
Yeah.
So
And a lot of them weren't experienced in doing it because their parents were helping them.
yeah, and now we got to talk about the third episode because exactly the Power Rangers episode, the dark side of that, and it was really tragic for a lot of the stuff. Like, I think a lot of people knew that JDF had a lot of like mental issues, and he never got over the fact that his brother had mental issues and was no longer with us. And so when JDF's passing, it was already like there was already problems there, but it looked deeper into it. Now, I don't know how much of it I fully believe, but at the same time, I'm a fan, but I'm not one of these fans who is going to sit there and be a complete apologist for everything that somebody does. Now, do I believe that Austin St. John went and meant to defraud? No. I think that was business advisors and stuff. Because like they said in this, he got into it. He was just turning 18 when he signed the contract for Power Rangers. So even though he's gone off and he's joined up and he's been an EMT and done so much good out there, I do think that people were taking advantage. So I don't see Austin St. John hasn't gone to jail or anything.
No.
He's not like Carlos Medina Jr., who actually went and was the Red Ranger in one season, villain in another, and ended up killing somebody.
Didn't Walter, what do you call, go to jail?
Who?
The Black Ranger, the first original Black Ranger?
No.
Walter Jones?
No.
I thought he went to, something happened with him.
No. Walter Emmanuel Jones has had like a pretty good career. He's popped up in a lot of different shows. He
Yeah.
was on The Shield. I swear,
Yeah, I remember
he doesn't
that.
look like he's aged.
No.
He's in his 50s and he still looks amazing. So I'm
The sad thing, who was it? Tai Trang, I believe.
Twee.
Trang.
Yeah.
The sad when she had that accident.
Yeah.
And everything. And
Fu-
her career was going. She had just left the show. She was in Crow City of Angels.
Yep. She
and
did the
everything.
second Crow movie.
Yeah.
Like she was actually becoming more looking for other work and
She
stuff.
was breaking away from the Rangers.
Yeah, but she also she lost more of her job there because she spoke out because they were non-union at that point.
Yeah.
And notice it took them till right before Disney bought them before they went union.
And the funny thing was that anybody that spoke union, they got rid of the next season.
Of course. It was all a matter of getting rid of people to not have to pay more money. Haim Saban and Shuki Levy, their company, Saban is basically ingrained in like the childhood shows that we grew up watching because they were involved in the theme music or some form of the production. But now you look at it and you're like, they didn't take care of their actors properly. You saw like they talked about how even recording the pilot, you had one of the actors in the putty outfit. He went and he was passing out.
Yeah,
They had to all stop and refused to do anything until they got this guy water and medical treatment.
Yeah.